Before Skeletor ruled Snake Mountain, before the evil warriors terrorized Eternia, there was another villain, older, more powerful, and far more dangerous. His name was Hordak, the ruthless leader of the evil Horde, a conqueror who once nearly controlled Eternia itself. But here's the question that makes his story so dark. Was Hordak born evil, or was he created to become a weapon? Today, we're exploring the full origin of Hordak, the villain who shaped the destiny of Eternia and even helped create Skeletor. Long before He-Man was born, Eternity faced a different enemy, an army known as the Evil Horde. Their leader was Hordak, a tyrant who ruled through fear and technology. Unlike Skeletor, who relied mostly on magic, Hordak used something else. Dark science, mutation, cybernetic weapons. The Horde didn't just conquer worlds, they reshaped them. Cities were enslaved, armies were corrupted, and entire civilizations were forced into obedience. But here's the terrifying truth. Hordak wasn't working alone, because behind him was an even darker power. In modern Masters of the Universe lore, Hordak serves an ancient galactic empire ruled by Horde Prime. Horde Prime created the Horde to conquer entire star systems. Hordak was one of his top generals. But something about Hordak was different. Unlike the other commanders, he had ambition. He didn't just want to serve the Horde, he wanted power. Real power. And that ambition would eventually change the fate of Eternia. At some point in Eternia's ancient history, Hordak invaded the planet, and for a time, he actually succeeded. The Horde conquered large parts of Eternia. Their armies spread across the land. Fortresses were built, resistance fighters were crushed, and the royal family was forced into hiding. But then something unexpected happened. The people of Eternia fought back, led by warriors and rebels who refused to surrender. And slowly, the Horde began to lose ground. Eventually, Hordak was forced to retreat, but he didn't leave empty-handed, because during that retreat, Hordak did something that would change the future forever. During the chaos of the Horde's escape, Hordak discovered something. The royal palace held twin infants, Prince Adam and Princess Adora. Hordak kidnapped Adora and took her through a portal to another world. That world was Etheria. There, he raised her as his own weapon. Adora grew up believing she served a noble cause, but in reality, she was being trained by the most ruthless conqueror in the galaxy, and she would eventually become something Hordak never expected. She-Ra, the very hero who would overthrow his empire. But Hordak's influence didn't stop there, because another villain would rise under his shadow. In many versions of the story, Hordak is responsible for creating Skeletor. Before Skeletor existed, there was a man named Keldor, a fallen prince. After a battle with King Randor, Keldor's face was destroyed by acid. Dying and desperate, Keldor turned to dark magic, and Hordak saved him. But the price was terrible. Keldor's body was transformed, his face became a skull, and Skeletor was born. But here's the haunting question. Did Hordak save Keldor, or did he create a new monster? Because once Skeletor gained power, he eventually betrayed his master. After Skeletor rose to power, he took control of Snake Mountain and began building his own army. For a time, the student had surpassed the master. But Hordak never truly disappeared. In some timelines, he waits, watching, preparing, because Hordak doesn't rush. He conquers slowly, patiently, and that makes him terrifying, because the Horde doesn't need chaos, it needs control. What makes Hordak unique among Masters of the Universe villains? It's not just his strength, It's his philosophy. Skeletor wants power. Hordak wants domination. Total domination. He rules through fear, through technology, through armies that never question orders. And unlike many villains, Hordak rarely loses his temper. He simply calculates, plans, and waits. Hordak may not always stand in the spotlight like Skeletor, but his shadow stretches across the entire Masters of the Universe story. He kidnapped She-Ra, created Skeletor, and nearly conquered Eternia. Which raises one final question. If Hordak ever returned at full power, would even He-Man be able to stop him? Because some villains seek power, but others seek control of the entire universe.